We are so excited to be here today for this street naming reveal, and it is such an honor to have it given to someone worthy of it. Ladies and gentlemen, as we begin the program, it is my pleasure to present to you our mayor, Mayor Andre Sayegh.
Yes. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
I want to start off by letting everyone know, if you haven't already, please wish Della McCall a happy birthday today. Turned 39 for the, how many at the time? Yes. Okay. Right. A cake will follow. She just said that there's a Fudge of the Whale Carvel ice cream cake that's been ordered, so we're prepared for that. But nevertheless, we're also here to celebrate a gentleman who poured his heart and soul into the Paterson Public School District. Let me take you back. Pete Tirri graduated from School 5, right behind historic Hinchliffe Stadium, which we brought back. As a matter of fact, Louis Velez wanted to call Hinchliffe Stadium, wanted to rename it Pete Tirri Stadium, but we just couldn't do it. Sorry. But he asked for a street in his ward, of course. And he went to watch this Central High School. Any Colts here? Or Kennedy Knights? Yes! What time is it? What time is it? No, it's 11:11. We got to keep going. Are there any East Side ghosts here? Only in all fairness, whoa! It's overwhelming. Let me keep moving. Any Dallas Cowboy fans here? Oh, we don't want to talk to, not today. Today's not the day for that. It's not the day. You're lucky you played a junior varsity team last night with the New York Midget. No, anyway. We're here for Pete Tirri, who for so many years advocated for so many teachers, so many students at 445 Straight Street. But after today, it'll be Pete Tirri Way. And Anthony Johnson from Eyewitness News, thanks for joining us. I want to point out one thing. We could have called it, right, Councilman Velez, Councilwoman Mims, Pete Tirri Street or Pete Tirri Boulevard. But Pete was used to having his way, so it is Pete Tirri Way. Yes! Come on! Our first speaker is a young man who advocated to make this happen, who's following in the footsteps of Pete Tirri, the current president of the Paterson Education Association, John McEntee. Come on, John. You're not wearing a jet green. Oh, yes, he's got some jet colors on.
Okay, Andre is always a very difficult person to follow, so I had to write my speech down. He's too much of a natural. The Honorable Mayor Sayegh, esteemed members of the City Council, board members, our police department, DPW, friends of labor, colleagues and residents of Paterson. Today, we gather to honor a man who has dedicated over 4 decades of his life to the betterment of our schools and the unwavering support of our educators. Mr. Peter A. Tirri, former president of the PEA, has been a pillar of strength, a beacon of hope, and a tireless advocate for the rights and well-being of our teachers and students. Under Mr. Tirri's leadership, the Paterson Education Association has flourished, becoming a powerful force for positive change in the Paterson community. He has championed fair wages, safer working conditions, and quality education for all. His legacy is etched in the countless victories he secured at the bargaining table and the unwavering support he provided to all of our employees. Beyond his accomplishments within the PEA, Mr. Tirri's impacts extend to the very heart of our city. He has been a steadfast partner, collaborating with city officials and community leaders to address the challenges facing our schools and our students. His commitment to Paterson is unwavering and his contributions immeasurable. In recognition of his extraordinary service and his dedication, I want to thank the City Council as well as the Mayor for renaming Straight Street a thoroughfare that symbolizes the unwavering path Mr. Tirri has walked in pursuit of labor, justice, and excellence to Peter A. Tirri Way.
Right, yeah.
Let this street forever bear his name, a testament to his enduring legacy and a reminder of the profound impact one individual, as well as his teammates over the years, can have on a community. Thank you, Pete, for your service, your leadership, and your unwavering commitment to the Paterson Education Association and all of our school system. Thank you so much.
Come on, let's have another round of applause for John McEntee. Yeah, I just saw that we've been joined by someone who knows Pete Tirri very well. As a matter of fact, member of the union. He's our director of the Division of Recreation and our assemblyman from the 35th Legislative District. No stranger to anyone here and friend of Pete Tirri. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the Honorable Benji E. Wimberly.
Andre's really hyped up this morning. This is why you can't have candy in the classroom. The bodegas have to shut down. No lemon heads, no Chico sticks. I don't know what. The Giants really lost last night, but that's another story. But it's really indeed an honor to be in front of you. Mr. Tirri was my 8th grade teacher at the old MLK. Yes, and I can say this is that those were some great times at the old MLK. With you and Rob Terry and Pope Weenie and Ackershook and that whole crew there. It was unbelievable. But it was a great experience for a kid. Then it was a middle school. So we used to catch the 54 bus downtown Paterson to MLK to go to school from the east side of town. And it really got us acclimated to high school, I think, earlier. But even more importantly, after I graduated college, it was always a face that I knew Peter Tirri. Because when the PA was on 27th Street and Park Ave, we played football in the churchyard across the street, and when Mr. Tirri came, we all stopped and waved to Mr. Tirri. So I don't know, but he was always at that spot. So he put a lot of hours in with the PEA. But more importantly, when I became a member of the PEA, my first 2 years, I got laid off. And you were always my first call. Mr. Tirri, I got to get out of here. I don't know what's going on. He always be like, calm down, you're good, don't worry about it. And each time, I was good. I'll never forget the strike, I think of 92 or one of those. We never went on strike, but I left the baseball equipment for Eastside inside of the gym. And they said, you cannot cross that line. And I go, Mr. Tirri, I got to cross that line. I got to get my baseball equipment. And he goes, just go through there. Nobody's going to bother you. But Mr. Tirri, you've been a great friend, a great mentor. And to think back to that year, back then, that you were my 8th grade teacher is really an honor to present you with a proclamation from the state of New Jersey, which will be signed by Senate President Nick Scuteri, Speaker Craig Coughlin, and our governor, and we will have this framed for you. So I'm just showing it to you now, and we're going to present it to you from Senator Nellie Poe, myself, and Assemblywoman Shavonda Sumter. But Mr. Tirri, more importantly, I love you.
Let's have another round of applause for our Assemblyman Wimberly. Are there any other former students of Pete Tirri's here? He was a math teacher, is that correct? I could have used you. At this time, we have representing Passaic County, our county commissioner, who was an institution herself with her family here in the city of Paterson, the deputy director of the county commissioner board, Cassandra Sandy Lazara. Right?
Good morning, everyone. I'm happy to be here to represent the Passaic County Board of Commissioners. But more importantly, Pete, I'm here to say to you, thank you for all your service. We know, I was an educator for 25 years. And when I first started in education, where I did my student teaching was at Martin Luther King School. Yeah, a long time ago. I'm not even going to say the year. But now, listen, we know that Pete has always put in a good fight for the educators and the staff in all the schools here in Paterson. And we also know that we can't teach kids that aren't happy. And having the contracts that we needed to make a living, to have a union behind all the educators and the support staff in the schools is so important to the well-being of our children. So when Pete was out there fighting for the contracts, it wasn't personal. He was fighting not only for the educators and support staff, but he was fighting for the kids. The kids need teachers who are happy and are doing their job and are being recognized for that. So Pete, I know all the teachers here in Paterson, your legacy lives on because of what you've done. And we appreciate that. Now, isn't it apropos that Straight Street is named after you, Pete? Because we know that you've always been a straight shooter, right?
That was good. That was good.
Thank you. But we are here to celebrate you. And listen, Joe just said to me, oh, maybe it should be Tirri Trail.
Oh,
That's kind of like an alliteration, right? But
that's true.
I don't know if you want a trail here in Paterson. It might not be the right thing. But Pete, we thank you. We thank you for paving the way for all the teachers and support staff that are teaching now in Paterson. We thank you for the kids that are being able to learn because they have teachers that are so actively engaged with what they do. Because when they leave the classroom at night or the school at night, they know that they can go home and have the things that they need in order to prepare for the next day. So we thank you on behalf of the entire Board of County Commissioners. Thank you, Pete.
Thank you, Sandy. Another round of applause for our county commissioner. That was it. I like what you did there with that straight street. We had a bishop, I loved him, Bishop Franklin Pettiford. He's like, you want to be on Straight Street, not Crooks Ave, right? Okay, so close to Straight Street right now. You know, this couldn't happen without the municipal council. And I don't know if you watch council meetings, Pete. That's like 6 hours of your life you'll never get back. They last 2 days, if we're lucky. But we have two council people who supported this, and I believe there was unanimous approval. So we've been joined by our councilwoman at large, Dr. Lalisa Mims, and the councilman who represents this ward, the Councilman Louis A. Velez. I'm going to ask them both to come forward. Ladies first, of course.
Good morning. As a three-time endorsee of the PEA, a member of the PEA, and a student of School 21, the Tirri's legacy runs very deep and very wide. So when I looked up the meaning of Tirri, T-I-R-I, it talks about being clever, eloquent, straightforward, no nonsense, and will never compromise. So you came out of a good legacy. But when this came forward to the city council, it was a no-brainer. When it came to contracts, teachers, fair wages, making sure that we had people in the classroom that were qualified, making sure things were running straight. You trained us well. You made sure we got the job done. It is because of you, people like myself, and so many thousands of other people that have went through this trail are great, educated, and highly qualified teachers to this day. I want to say thank you for what you've done. Thank you for what you always do, and thank you for the legacy that you've imparted into all of us. We appreciate you, and I'm really happy that we could give you your flowers while you can smell them. Congratulations, and well deserved.
First of all, I want to welcome everyone to the great city of Paterson, 5th Ward, the heart of Paterson. This is the heart of Paterson. So, hey Terry, if my daughter has a profession today, my son is a cop in Orlando, is because PT is not part-time. It's empowering teachers. That's what you did. You empower teachers. And I'm grateful for you, for your work, the union. Even I didn't get endorsed by unions because they don't get involved in municipal councils. They don't. But they know how to do their work. But I always stand with the teachers of my city, especially I have 12 plus schools, public schools in my ward. And I always go to advocate for them. But the reason I do this from the bottom of my heart is because you paved the road for us. You did it. And because you did it, we had to honor your legacy, your work, and moving forward the future, that anyone out there that trying to come on board to represent the teachers, learn from what you did and keep that legacy on every day. Thank you. And to all the superintendent in the past and now, I encourage them to always look to that paving road from you and the one that are in place now. So God bless you. God give you health that we could have you for more 100 years from now. Not PT. You empower teachers, and that is important. God bless you all.
Thank you, Councilman. You keep saying PT, I'm thinking about physical therapy. As you get older, that's what it is. I got an Achilles issue. We have the Vice President from the NJEA, Stephen Beatty. Please join us, Steve. Come on now. Yes. Tell him. You've got 45 minutes.
Said 45 minutes, all right.
It takes your time.
Well, thank you, Steve. Appreciate you being here. Thank you, Mayor. My name is Steve Beatty, and I'm a proud high school social studies teacher at the Bridgewater-Broward Regional School District, but also humbly serving as the Vice President of the New Jersey Education Association. And we're here today for Pete, right? Because we understand what that means, to have shared values, to see people, honor them for the work that they have done over a lifetime, doing the good work and coming back. And that's our bond, that's our commitment. And even though I know I'm a high school social studies teacher, I'm a union member. Right? I grew up in a union household, right? I'm a union member. I grew up in a union household where my dad went on strike. I have my grandfather's union cards. He was an immigrant, because we understand the values that are espoused in justice-centered people like Pete, understanding what it was about, right? And the work that you all do every day, all of our educators, all of our members, so important, epitomized in the day-to-day of what we do. And we also sometimes feel we do more than we have to, or are called upon to do more. But that's where people like Pete come in, because they understand the nexus of labor and education and why it's so important. Those two things come together. And he's a bridge builder, someone who made those bonds, who understood why that was so important. And we're talking about former PEA president, stalwart, Peter Tirri. Now I stand here as someone, I can't say I'm from Paterson, or I know what it's like to go to the schools here, and the mayor used up all my good jokes already, so I have nothing. But it's so important because Pete listened to members. He understands that members' voices are powerful, right? And that's what made this work. Longtime member of NJEA's Delegate Assembly, the governing body that steers our union, and true to form, not just a participant, an active leader in that forum, guided by his passion. He served as a member and chaired the NJEA Urban Education Committee, advocating state-level policies that impacted all schools in urban areas, not just here in Paterson. And that impact can be felt here today. He also served as a member of the NJEA Working Conditions Committee. And after serving as a hardworking member, he chaired until retiring just a few years ago. And during this time, he was a staunch advocate for assuring our schools were healthy and safe, because we know kids need to come to schools that welcome them, that look good, that are clean. It shouldn't matter what your zip code is. Kids deserve, and that is our mission. And Pete was a leader in doing that. So in short, he embodies everything it means. But when I became Secretary Treasurer in 2017, the first district I visited was Paterson. And I've been back 6 or 7 times. And John, thank you for welcoming me in, but the message was, when I went to those buildings and we talked, your name, Pete, your name, your enduring legacy. And I know this isn't easy sometimes to hear this, because as leaders, we don't do it for the accolades, right? We do the work, we give other people credit, but this is your turn, my friend. This is your turn to be honored and know the work that you have done is not only what it has been, but the enduring legacy that will carry on. And as an organization and as a member, I thank you.
Give another round of applause for Steve Beatty. Talking about union leaders, we've been joined by the president of the Passaic County Education Association. I just want to acknowledge Susan Butterfield. Sue, thank you. And past president Joe Sheff. Joe. Also want to acknowledge former superintendent Eileen Schaefer. And we'd like to hear now from our current superintendent, Dr. Lori Newell. Please come forward here.
Good morning, everyone. I bring greetings from Paterson Public Schools. Mr. Tirri, it's nice to see you again. Mr. Tirri and I, we worked together when I was here the first time, and he was strong, very, very direct, but also very honest. When we worked together, we had a lot of negotiations that we had to sit across from the table, and I can say that Mr. Tirri, his heart and soul was really making sure that he represented everyone under his umbrella, and I would say he did it with tremendous honor. So on behalf of Paterson Public Schools, my predecessor, Miss Eileen Schaefer, we're just so honored for you to have this Tirri Way. It's really a true representation of all of your hard work. You've put your entire soul, your passion into Paterson, and we see it every day, and we love you, we honor you, and we thank you for this day, and we thank you for all your service. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Superintendent. Also want to acknowledge Paterson School Board Commissioner Valerie Freeman. Thank you for joining us as well. So we've arrived at our penultimate speaker. This is going to be very personal because this is Pete's son, who's serving our country in the Army National Guard. And so we're honored to have you with us today. There's no way we could have rescheduled knowing that you scheduled this day for your father. So let's put our hands together for Pete Tirri's son, Vince Tirri.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming today. I promised that I won't. I know the mayor is a very busy man, so we won't take too much time. I do want to share just a couple of embarrassing things about my father really quickly. This is essentially payback for 45 years of not being able to go anywhere in northern New Jersey without, oh, Mr. Tirri, how are you? Yeah. So, which doesn't escape me, by the way, when you're pursuing a master's degree and you find that one of your professors, in fact, was on a negotiating team with your father, 35 years ago. So, but, we're extremely proud to be here today. Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, our friends from the state legislature, our friends from the NJEA, past and present Passaic County Education Association officers and members. Thank you everyone for this tremendous honor from my father. Want to specifically shout out Mr. John McEntee first. Mr. McEntee, thank you so much to you and your team. Charles, Gino, Ryan, Joy, Mary, Deborah. Putting this together means a lot to us. It means a lot, not just to my dad, but to the entire family. We also want to thank Javi, Karen, and Pam for your work behind the scenes. We know that nothing gets done without the staff working hard, to make sure that everyone, can shine brightly. So, as you all know, my father grew up in Paterson. He's a loyal Patersonian, graduated of School 5, School 12, and Central High School. I'm sure that my father never imagined that he would have his name on a street sign. There are probably several former Paterson teachers rolling in their graves right now, specifically Mrs. Vanderclock, who gave him a D in self-control in 6th grade. In all the years as his, in all the years, yeah, exactly, yeah. In all my father's years as the president of the PEA, you know, he never would have thought that this kind of an honor would have been bestowed upon him. There were a lot of tense moments around the bargaining table, a lot of honest, direct communication, but through it all, though there may have been disagreement, everyone involved wanted the best for this city, the school community, students, and staff. We'd be remiss if we didn't mention the fact that this was never a one-man show. My dad had the good fortune to work with talented individuals, caring members of the association at all levels, the state, the county, and here in the city of Paterson. That assistance was invaluable to all of his officers, the executive board members, the negotiating team members, and the PEA membership who became extended members of our family. Thank you so much for your support over the years. As members of the association, you trusted my dad to serve you, and while today he's being honored, he is undoubtedly appreciative for the unwavering support that you gave him and the organization. It was the honor of his life to be a teacher, first and foremost, in Paterson, where he was born and raised, and indeed to serve as the president of the PEA. We would all be remiss if we didn't mention our families. My mom, Fran, my mom put up with an unbelievable amount of craziness for a number of years. I was the perfect child. A lot of crazy moments, a lot of late nights in the office, late night negotiating sessions, and a tremendous amount of challenges that would put anyone to the test. But my mom, they say that steel sharpens steel, and my mom is one tough lady. And, she's a Bergen County girl. We won't hold that against her, but, but Mom, thank you for everything that you did for, making sure that Dad was successful in everything that he did for this city and for the kids and the teachers here. I have to, of course, acknowledge my sister, Angela, who drove up from North Carolina. My dad obviously is, enormously proud of both of us. And the individuals that we've grown to be, and he's extremely thankful for us providing him a couple of apples of his eye in 5 great grandchildren: Ava, Stella, Bella, Frankie, and Zoe. I would mention that I was talking with John earlier, and I said to him, one of the things about growing up as Pete Tirri's son, what people don't realize is that growing up in a union household can be tough. There's a lot of tough times. There's a lot of questions of like, well, how come we don't get to do these things? How come Dad's got to be away and doing some of this stuff? But I will tell you, I learned to appreciate those things growing up and becoming an Army officer because of the fact that while I was telling John earlier, the Army talks a good game about people first. But when you grow up in a household with Pete Tirri as your dad, and the dinner time conversation often turns to what can we do for people. This is the kind of stuff that teaches you the lessons that you need to be successful in life. And when I was out at Fort Leavenworth last year, the educational side, not the detention center side. When I was out at Fort Leavenworth, we were given a challenge to compose a command vision statement, and it was really easy for me to do because of the fact that I had the greatest tutor in leadership that anyone could ever ask for, and that was my father, Pete Tirri. So, Dad, thank you for everything that you did for us, for what you did for this city. And everything that you've done for the teachers of Paterson. So, Dad, congratulations. Thank you so much. And Mr. Mayor, thank you so much for this. Appreciate it.
One more round of applause for Vince Tirri. So we've arrived at that moment. And I was just joshing earlier when I said John McEntee wanted to rename Hinchliffe Stadium after Pete. But he did float the notion of naming the city after you. It was going to be Paterson, so that would have been a little expensive. That's the only reason why we didn't do it. They have to change the stationery, right? Coach Wimberly, we'd have to stay, sorry. So ladies and gentlemen, what can we say? He made this building at 445 famous. So right in front, appropriately enough, in front of this building that Pete Tirri made famous, his sign will forever be seen to designate Straight Street, Pete Tirri Way. And so at this time, we want to hear from the man of the hour, the Pete Tirri and Pete Tirri Way. Pete Tirri. PT.
I've gotten message from the School 12 staff that they're all being ordered into going back to work as soon as we get out of here. So I thought you'd want to know that. I can't tell you how embarrassed I am by all of this. I love you all for doing it, but there is one person that, for some reason, Vince didn't point out, and that's his mom, Fran, who has gone through all of this, and in a way allowed me to do what I did because I had the time to do it. I've enjoyed, Christ, how long in the school district? 30 years, 40 years? Who said that? Look, we're not having a whatchamacallit here, you know. I started in school 5, and I loved it. I loved the people that I worked with. Oops. I don't think that I could ever name one teacher in that school that made me crazy. I made them crazy, but that's a whole different thing. Somehow or other, somebody, and I don't remember who it was, somebody tricked me at School 12 into being a delegate. I will find you, and I will get you. By the way, that threat goes with Fran as well, because she's had put up with as much as I did, and maybe even more, because she had to put up with me. We worked from one school to another, 5, the 12, and then here. And I love this place, and I love the people that worked with me. And I love the people who worked with me in those other places. This is a hell of a tough place to work in. You all know that. But the people who work in this school system, not just you guys, because you guys get to get up and leave, but the people who work in the school system, day in and day out, are amazing, amazing people. I know that that they say that I'm supposed to be talking about myself. But I can't do that for 2 reasons. 1, my arms don't reach that far anymore. And 2, I was part of all of this. Not an individual of it, but part of it. And now the cops are coming after me. I couldn't have been more proud to serve as a member of the Board of Education. Whoop, did he say that? He didn't mean that. He really didn't mean that, guys. The lightning will come down and strike me before I finish this now. A member, an employee of School 5 and School 12, and I can't even remember, I can't even tell you the delight I had in working with all of you for all of the years that we did. I need to say something else, because putting up with all of you was simple when it comes to Fran and her putting up with me. And it's almost impossible to say how proud I am to have served with each and every one of you, and all of the people who are still working today. And some of them are saying, well, what am I doing here? But this is a tough place to work in. This is a tough place to work in because the positions are so tough. The issues are so tough. And yet, all of you do it every single day. And they made it easier for me. Because hell, I just had to follow what you guys were doing and then I go home. I am more proud than you could ever imagine to have worked with the Board of Education in the city of Paterson. I've been PO'd sometime at the Board of Education, I will admit that. Okay, yeah, there you go. But everybody worked so hard, and the irony is that the kids knew that, and their parents knew that, and that made it so much easier for everybody. It's a heck of an easy thing to do when you go in the morning, you do blah, 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 and then you go home. The people that we work with don't do that. They never did. I believe they never will. You guys are the most terrific group of people that I've ever known, and I thank you for it. And that's not just because you're my relatives, but because you're my friends. And I've felt that you are my friends a heck of a lot earlier than I did your working with you. One of the things that I was supposed to do today was to write something. So I had a speech. If I had it, it's gone. So I just want to thank you for all of this insanity. I cannot tell you how proud I am to have worked with you all in this job. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, on the count of 3, we're going to say Pete Tirri Way, and then we unveil the sign. You ready? Are you ready? Yeah. All right. 1, 2, 3. Pete Tirri Way!